I got my new hat in from Worthy Apparel, and I freaking love it. Pull this over to the side. Looks good. Where's my purse? Where's my purse? Oh Jesus, it's on the floor. I have my purse. My keys are not in it. What did I do? What did I do? Oh, there they are. Let's have a chat about PTSD. When you're in an abusive relationship, you can develop PTSD for a multitude of things. It can be for physical things, it can be for verbal things, it could be for all of the above, it could be for something that you don't even realize is a trigger, but it develops because our bodies expect something to happen after a certain action. And our subconscious survival brain latches onto that and doesn't want to let go. So I want to talk about and share with you how I manage my PTSD and how I'm able to do as much as I do without having a complete meltdown, at least a majority of the time. To managing your PTSD, the best thing that I have found is to get to know your triggers. And finding your triggers can be done in a few different ways, and I can do a deeper dive video on how to find those triggers. If you'll find that interesting, just let me know in the comments. Some of my personal triggers are being touched, especially without me knowing, yelling, when people begin to raise their voice or talk over me, or I can hear people yelling and arguing somewhere around me, being alone. When I am out alone and I'm going grocery shopping or I go to get Starbucks, I am hyper aware of my surroundings. I basically want to have this like 360 Byakugan style vision of the world around me, so I know if someone is approaching me. And I am by no means an expert on this. I have by no means mastered it, but I have come a long way. It's something that I do that really helps me, especially if I am feeling overstimulated, which it seems awkward because it's like what I'm about to share is like more stimulation. Going in my car and listening to very heavy, very loud music helps me out a ton. Whether I'm listening to some metal or like punk rock screamo stuff. There's also a lot of like super bass heavy, I don't know what style of music to call it because it's not techno, it's not EDM. I don't know what it is. It's like a crossover. But anyway, Dice Irae, I don't know how to pronounce it, by Apache, whatever it is. I will just like put the little thing up. I can physically feel the bass moving through my body. I can feel the volume change in the music. It's very centering for me because it takes over a majority of my senses. Not only am I listening to it, but I'm also physically feeling the impact of that music. I have had to have as many age-appropriate conversations with my son as possible, especially regarding touch. My son has his own sensory processing needs, and he is very much a sensory craver, while I am a sensory avoider. As his mom, it is my job to give him what he needs, but I also have to make sure that I communicate with him what I need. So we have a lot of conversations around respect and respecting other people's bodies, and around consent and asking before you touch someone's body. I am especially triggered when I don't see it coming. Like if someone comes and puts their hand on my shoulder and I did not know they were there, that puts me in a really bad spot because it causes my body to get very tense and very tight, because any stress response that I have triggers all of my autoimmune muscle stuff, and it really throws me off for sometimes days at a time. So talking to my son and being like, hey Bubba, I love your hugs, but your body needs a lot of stuff all the time, and my my body needs less, and in fact, it needs more alone time than your body does. That doesn't mean that I don't want to hug you, but I just need you to come up and ask me before you touch me. The trigger itself can also be a indicator of what I need and what my body needs. Throughout my time of PTSD recovery and working on how to manage it within my life, I've learned that what the actual trigger is and my body's response to it tells me what I need. There are some cases where I am triggered and it brings up a lot of anxiety and I get really angry or I get really flustered and my hands, I physically cannot stay still. In those cases, I would go to the gym, even if I already worked out that day. I would run on the treadmill or I would go and lift really heavy weights, something for me to get some resistance to get that energy out. There are other cases that trigger drains me versus energizes me. That is when I try to seek out quiet time. I will tell my son, hey buddy, go ahead and play on the Xbox, shut the door to the game room. I need 10 minutes of just some alone time. And I will put in my headphones and I will go watch a YouTube video, or I will watch one of my comfort shows like New Girl, or right now it's Pretty Smart on Netflix. I watch YouTubers that I'm really familiar with so I know their style. I watch shows that I already know what's going to happen, so that way I don't have to prepare for anything new. It's just the comfort of predictability. When you have something in your life that's just constant and consistent, it helps your brain calm down. Getting really familiar with what my body needs and what my body wants has really helped me as I've managed my PTSD symptoms. So if you are in this place where you think you might have PTSD or you haven't gotten the particular diagnosis, but you're just feeling all of that, you feel extremely bothered by certain events, I would recommend taking some time and really centering yourself and getting to know your body and paying attention to it. Something that has really helped me do this is focusing on my breathing. And I understand that this is something that a lot of people don't want to do because it's been recommended to you by someone who doesn't get it, or you don't really know if it works for you. But what I would highly recommend is starting out with something called square breathing. This is where you breathe in for the count of 4, you hold for the count of 4, you breathe out for the count of 4, and you hold for the count of 4. And you repeat this as many times as needed. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. And then you repeat. Once I feel more grounded, I like to take my breathing back to normal, just breathing in through my nose, out through my mouth, making sure they're belly breaths and not chest breaths. Expanding your belly when you breathe in, contracting your belly when you breathe out. And then I will do something like neck rolls or wrist movements, some stretching. This seems like it's no big deal, but it really brings me back to my body. And when I'm in a really triggered, panicked state, this can really, really help, because just the act of feeling my hands, of knowing where I am in space, brings me that sense of control, and it brings me a sense of peace knowing that, okay, my body right now is safe. My space is safe. Even though I am in a heightened arousal state, I am okay. That feeling of safety is what PTSD takes from us. Whether we don't feel physically safe, emotionally safe, spiritually safe, bringing back that sense of safety is going to help calm your brain. As you bring in more of that safety and you remind yourself that you are safe and that you are in a place where you are in control of yourself and your body, that can help slowly bring down your heightened sense of arousal. Sometimes what I like to do is just pace. I just walk around and get that energy out. I will lay on my bed and just feel myself sink into the ground. Honestly, sometimes what I need is laying on my floor. Right now we have a cement floor, and so laying down is very abrupt and it's not necessarily comfortable, but myself against the cold cement floor, along with just the intensity of laying flat, can be enough to bring me back to center. If you try something that works for me and it doesn't work for you, that is totally okay. We are humans with different brains, different chemistry, and different experiences. So anyone who expects us all to be helped by the exact same thing, doesn't understand how the brain works. So what I would love to know now is, how do you manage your PTSD symptoms? What is something that works for you? What is something that you're resistant against, but once you tried it, it actually helped? I would love for the comments just be a safe place for people to come and talk about their PTSD and talk about what helps, what they tried, and help people everywhere. And before you go, make sure you check out this video right over here, because it's going to help you as you continue on your abuse recovery journey. Thank you so much for hanging out. Never forget that you are strong, you are capable, you are intelligent, and boo, you are so freaking worthy. I love you so much, and we'll talk soon.